Hey everyone. So it's been a minute. I haven't done Real Talk in a while, and there's actually a reason for it because nothing's really changed until this week. It was pretty much the same thing week after week, and I think I've gone 4 weeks now where I haven't done a Real Talk video. But this week, stuff changed. So might be a bit longer of a video so that I can tell you everything that's been going on. But at the same time, there's a lot that is the same. So I think I told you in one of my previous videos that chemo fatigue is a real thing. And it really is. I can sleep for hours and wake up not rested, not rejuvenated, feeling pretty much the same way I felt when I went to sleep. I've just learned to live with it. It's one of those things where I'm tired all the time, but whatever, I can handle it. Or at least I try to fool myself into believing that I can handle it. And I lose energy quickly, walking from our home to my parents' home. It's not really that far. It's maybe 250 meters, not far at all. And by the time I get to my parents' house, or by the time I get back to our home, I'm done. Like, I just need to sit and relax and, let my body catch up with where my mind is. So that really hasn't changed. It's pretty much the same as it's been since, week 3. One of the biggest things that I've noticed lately is that when I do sleep, I sleep a whole lot lighter. So if there's the slightest noise, I open my eyes and look around, which makes me wonder if I'm even hitting deep sleep. I don't know that I am, but I have multiple naps a day. So, that could be part of the reason why I'm sleeping lighter anyway, because if I'm doing nothing, if I'm just sitting watching TV shows on my phone or reading a book or whatever, I find that I doze off, primarily because I'm always tired, but there's also the exhaustion that I constantly feel that contributes to that. As most of you know, or at least those who actually have known me for years, who get this video or see this video, you know that June is always a rough month for me. And this year has been particularly true. It has been a rough month. I promised myself I wasn't going to cry, and yeah. So, for those who don't know, June 30th was the 8-year anniversary of my youngest daughter's death. The month of June is always a rough month for me. Just reflecting on her life, really missing her, and trying to not fall apart in the process of missing her. Because of everything else that's been going on in our life this year, I actually managed to make it through June without the usual depression and isolation that I felt in previous years. Because, clearly I've been busy. Weekly trips to Sudbury and appointments and trying to keep my schedule sorted out in my mind and that sort of thing. So it's made June a little bit easier for me to bear this year. But on Tuesday, although I had a few people that I was talking to on and off throughout the day, which is totally unlike me for June 30th. Normally on June 30th, I turn my phone off and don't communicate with anybody but John. But this year I was talking to other people and so on. But I found that I really missed her almost more this year on Tuesday, because she was the one that would make me laugh. She was the one who would just show up with coffee or tea or, come on, Mom, let's go shopping. And I didn't have that. I haven't had that for the last 8 years, but I didn't have that this year. And even if I had, I'm not sure that I would have had the energy to do what she wanted to do anyway, which is difficult for me to wrap my head around. And the grief has come in waves. But it hasn't been unmanageable, which has been really very weird. I can't explain. I know there are moms out there who watch my videos who have lost children, and some of you might actually understand what I'm trying to put out there, but I can't explain beyond what I've already said. So I'm not going to elaborate further simply because I don't have the words to be able to. But dealing with everything that's going on in our life right now with my cancer, and then adding on missing my youngest as badly as I've been missing my youngest this year, it's just been different. It's been a completely different scenario and situation. But then there's the depression surrounding not having her here and going through what I'm going through. There's the feeling of isolation of not having her here and going through what I've been going through. It's like a double whammy. And I think that's probably, in the last week, I think that's probably been the one thing that has been the hardest to navigate, is the depression and isolation. And what about the depression and isolation is connected to the cancer journey, and what about depression and isolation that's connected to not having Kimmy around? I'm not sure that I was even able to find that middle ground where I could distinguish between the two. All I know is that I really miss Kimmy. And I really wish I didn't have to do this anymore. Okay, and the biggest thing, and this started Sunday, last weekend, the biggest thing that I've had to navigate this week, it's relatively new. I only know one person who's going to say, oh yeah, I know what you're going through, because she deals with it for different reasons, but she deals with it, and that is neuropathy. I was dealing with a really super mild version of neuropathy, and it was manageable, and I didn't have much to complain about because all I had was numbness and tingling in my fingertips and in my toes. But this week, oh my, this week, it turned into pain. The numbness and tingling is gone, but my fingers hurt to the point where if I just tap them a little too hard on something I'm trying to pick up, or if I bump my toes, or if I'm sitting in my chair and my blanket is over my feet, just the weight of the blanket on my toes. Talk about painful. I've cried more this week because of the pain in my fingers and toes than anything else. Met with the oncologist today at 1:15. This doctor is incredible. He asked me if everything was going well. I said yes. I said the only concern I really have is neuropathy, and I described to him what was going on. So we've come up with a plan of attack. One of my chemo drugs is going to be reduced this week, and we're going to touch base with the clinical trial team, who will then take it back to him as to how things are going. And he's giving me a medication that deals with nerve pain, and hopefully this pain will go away, because there is no pain quite like it. And this is coming from somebody who deals with chronic pain. I have been in pain with my back since the beginning of 2016. I hurt my shoulder 3.5 years ago. Sorry, I just passed 4 years. Wow. And there's that pain, but that's pain that I can live with. That's pain that I've learned to live with. That's pain that's treatable with painkillers. But this neuropathy in my fingers, I bend my fingers like this, and it's like, oh man, that hurts. I walk across the room, and barefoot or socks and shoes, my toes hurt just by walking across the room. So I'm really hoping that the medication that he's giving me for the nerve pain actually helps. I'm really hoping that the reduction in the paclitaxel chemo helps, because from what he was saying, it's the paclitaxel that causes the neuropathy pain. So I'm really hoping that that helps. And hopefully by the beginning of next week, I should be feeling better with regards to that. If I'm not, then he will look at it again and possibly reduce the amount of paclitaxel again. But I've already responded very, very well to the paclitaxel. The tumor is gone. There's no indication of any further tumors in my lymph nodes up in my upper shoulder or neck or under my arms, which is phenomenal. So yeah, we're just gonna pray that that actually works. After tomorrow, because I've got chemo at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. After tomorrow, I've got 2 more weeks of the paclitaxel, and then I start into round 2. And round 2 will be once every 3 weeks. So we won't have to do the weekly drive to Sudbury for the second round. In fact, round 2 is a grand total of 4 chemo infusions, because it's once every 3 weeks, and I'm only doing round 2 for a total of 12 weeks. So there's only 4 infusions. That will take us to the middle of October. I will have 4 weeks, and in that 4 weeks, I should have an idea as to when surgery is going to be. So that at the end of that 4 weeks, or very closely after that, I'll be able to make the trip to Sudbury for surgery. But we'll keep you informed when that happens. Anyway, that's basically what's going on. All in all, I'm actually doing okay. Emotionally, I'm dealing with some stuff, but as I said before, I don't know if it's just the time of year, because this time of year for the last 8 years has been really tough, or if it's related to treatments. I don't know. John's keeping a very close eye on me at this point to make sure that I'm actually doing okay. He asks me multiple times a day if I'm okay, if there's anything I need. I couldn't ask for a better husband at this point, because he's just taking care of me. He's just taking care of me. My love for that man has grown so much. He's incredible. So I would like to ask that all of you please keep praying. I know I'm not walking this journey alone. I know that John and I are not alone. We have a number of friends and family members who are holding us up in prayer. And I couldn't be more grateful, knowing that I have church family and biological family and friends and people who check in, either with John or with myself, just to see how things are going. I can't possibly express the gratitude that I feel as a result of the outpouring of love that we have felt through this journey to this point. We're just waiting for my final EI payment for this current claim, which was basically just exhausting my previous claim for EI that I got over Christmas last year. And once that was gone, I was going to be able to reapply and get it going again. So I'm not concerned about that, but we're now at that point. My final payment should be in tomorrow because I got my report in late. So when I wake up in the morning, if it's there, I'll be able to reapply for medical EI at that point, which should take me through to the end of the year. The GoFundMe is still alive and active. However, we haven't seen anything come in on it for a while. So if you'd like the link for that, just shoot me a message, either privately or as a comment underneath this, and I can send you the link for that. If you'd rather not donate to the GoFundMe, but you still would like to send us some assistance, just let me know that as well. I do have an email address that I can give you, and the benefit of using the email address is that 100% of it comes to us for what we are dealing with as far as travel and food and that sort of thing. The Northern Ontario travel grants have started to trickle in. I have sent what's trickled in so far to the hospital for our hotel rooms. I do have somebody that I need to get money to because she helped us out with our first week of coming to Sudbury. So I do need to get some money to her, which will be taken care of tomorrow morning. But I needed to make a payment to the hospital for taking care of our hotel rooms first. So I took care of that this week from the travel grants. And as the travel grants come in from here on out, they need to go to paying down the amount that I owe the hospital. I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity to be able to have the hospital book these hotel rooms for us and pay for them so that we had a place to stay without having to run back and forth between home and Sudbury without having a place to stay. But I also didn't want to take advantage of that and not get it paid when the money started coming in because it was getting pretty high. Now, what the Northern Ontario Travel Grant does not cover is food. And John and I were talking about it on the way into Sudbury this morning. And food alone for these trips to Sudbury comes up to, from the time we leave home until the time we get home the next day, we put close to $200 a week into food just to be able to keep us going. And that includes buying snacks and stuff like that we can eat in the hotel room from Walmart or a grocery store. So there's expenses that the travel grant just simply doesn't cover. We have the travel grant to take care of our fuel costs. We have the travel grant to take care of our hotel room costs, but we got to eat, especially, I mean, before this cancer journey, it was nothing for me to be able to go without breakfast and lunch and just eat dinner and I'd be fine. But I can't do that now because my previous, this is take two. I got a phone call in the middle from the chemo room. That happens every week. I just was hoping I'd get through my video before it happened. But it totally sidetracked me. I have absolutely no idea where I was at the end of the last video. So I will combine the two videos and get them uploaded. And once again, I want to thank everybody for your love, your prayers, your words of encouragement and support. And I honestly don't think that John and I would be able to get through this with as much grace and feeling loved and supported without all of you. And so thank you for that. We love you, and we will touch base maybe next week. I can't say for sure that it's going to be next week. If nothing else has changed, then I'll probably just leave it as is. But as things change, I will definitely set to doing another video and updating you all. So anyway, I love you all. Thank you so much once again, and we will talk to you again the next time. Bye for now.